look who's back. I missed you guys. You guys missed me because I missed you. So let's get down to business. Let's get right down to it. So I know I haven't been on in a while, but 6 classes starting to beat the hell out of me. But I'm doing my best to keep up with all this. And actually a couple days ago, I had a pretty bad stomach bug. And I'm going to go into a little bit of graphic detail here. Diarrhea everywhere. But after I took a few showers, cleaned up, and, came downstairs and picked up my phone and, turned on the YouTubes to catch up on what I missed in my whole day of, being sick. I found the new Acolyte trailer, the new trailer for the new Disney Star Wars show. And I immediately ran back upstairs and puked everywhere. Yep. Here we go again. Man, I miss these Disney Star Wars shills. Come here, let me give you a hug. I miss the Disney Star Wars shills because they were some morons. Some damn idiots, bro. And I just cannot wait for the Acolyte to come out to basically demolish these losers into oblivion. All the people who are saying, oh, Disney Star Wars is fine. Star Wars is saved, guys. Well, I can't wait to see how y'all look when the Acolyte comes around. I can't wait to see the stupidity, the mental gymnastics, and all sorts of shillery that will go on whenever this show comes out on Disney+. The Acolyte is a perfect definition of DOA, dead on arrival. This thing was announced like 2 or 3 years ago, right? And it's been in production hell ever since. And it just now, sporadically came out with a trailer on Tuesday when I didn't think this thing was going to come out until at least maybe fall of this year. They pushed it up to June, which I'm actually particularly surprised that they actually put it out so fast and they were able to get it out to a point where it's okay, it's coming out in June, right? I thought it was going to be about maybe August or October. But no, they're coming out in June. They're ready to go. Kind of weird they came out right around Pride Month, huh? Can't wait for that. But the showrunner is Leslie Headland, none other than Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. Or as most people will like to call her, too ugly to get molested. And so a person like that with the ideology and agenda behind her works and behind her personal life, it's not hard to see why, this show would end up probably being filled to the brim with identity politics. Because if you check all of her other things, all of her stage plays or her other TV shows and movies, it's mostly crying victimhood narratives that are mostly about, oh, I worked for Harvey Weinstein and it was so horrible. Girl, you fed girls to Harvey Weinstein like he was Jabba the Hutt. Let's not fool people here. And so the Acolyte's actual plot takes place, some people say 200 years before Phantom Menace, some people say 150, some people say 100. Let's just say it's 100 years before the Phantom Menace, all right? You have any idea how much damage that can cause to the entirety of the franchise? Who gives a fuck at this point? But still, the people who still care are going to have so many problems with canonical issues that may come around if this thing actually ends up being the biggest disaster that it could be. But it's at the very end of the High Republic, an era that almost nobody likes. I know there's a few people out there that read the books or claim they read the books. Sure, you go ahead. You like your space rocks. You like getting high, and you like, gay aliens or something. You go ahead, you do that. That's not my Star Wars. That's not a lot of people's Star Wars. And the High Republic is basically a shit kids version of the Old Republic, which Old Republic was metal as fuck. And so High Republic, it's more like, let's get High Republic. It's not even that good shit. It's like bad fentanyl that ends up killing you. The Acolyte takes place at the very end of that, and there's a lot of they're building this up, and there's a lot of points that they're trying to make of Dark Jedi and having more Sith. That is canonical issue number 1. There were not more than 2 Sith. Haven't you ever heard of the rule of 2? That was a big fucking thing that was very, it became a big issue. But then they were like, oh, well, there's more than 2 Sith in the Clone Wars, so we're okay with, throwing in more. Just like they were okay with having more Jedi survive Order 66, almost as if Order 66 meant freaking nothing. But hey, aside the point, I honestly don't give a fuck anymore. I'm sure a lot of people don't either, but I just can't wait for this show to come out and it just spits in the faces of all the idiots who still support Disney Star Wars, in spite of the fact that Disney Star Wars doesn't support you as a fan. There are no such things as racist fans or toxic fans. There are only fans. And the people that, work at Disney and Lucasfilm, they like to alienate the fans because they think that their fans, have some sort of like hatred of a certain demographic of people. It's like, no, you're using these people's identities as shields to cover up your shit storytelling. You remember the Reva scandal? I'm not going to go into all of Lucasfilm's crimes here, but Star Wars being murdered by Lucasfilm is one of the biggest crimes they've ever committed. And I'm not even talking about the canon anymore. I'm talking about the social interactions around it. You can't even go into a single Star Wars post on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter without people fucking arguing. That's how bad it is now. But I think most people don't give a shit anymore. That's certainly where I'm at. You know what, Disney freaks? You can have it. You can just, run with it and play with it. That is your thing now, you bunch of weirdos. I will always cherish the Star Wars that I grew up with as a kid. I'm never going to let go of that, and I'm not going to let anybody take it from me. However, that seems like it's the very thing that Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy, and yes, everyone's favorite lesbian, Dave Filoni, also want to do. They want to take what we love and turn it into some sort of Cthulhu monster, some sort of Lovecraftian entity that is ugly and deformed, that we cannot recognize as something that we once loved. And so some of my friends and some of my followers and some other people, subscribers, are asking me, Isaac, what was your thoughts on this new Disney Star Wars Acolyte trailer? I said it was boring as shit. There wasn't in there anything that I really cared about. It was all High Republic crap. The lightsabers look stupid because lightsabers don't cut anything anymore. You can survive a lightsaber wound now because apparently Disney Star Wars has made it their goal to make lightsabers about as dangerous as fucking balloons. So the lightsabers look dumb, the actors look stupid, the plot looks boring, and the world is not anything I'm interested in because I'm not interested in the High Republic. I think it's gay. I know that people in the comments, oh, it does, how did you say that? How could you be so homophobic? Motherfuckers literally say that, they literally tell us these characters are gay. It's not political to be gay. Well, then why do you get so offended when I call it fucking gay? That leads on to this next point, right? A day later, a day after the Acolyte trailer comes out, guess who comes out with the trailer? House of the Dragon. That's right. House of the Dragon doesn't come out with just one trailer, but two trailers. One for the blacks and one for the greens. If you don't know what that means, it's basically the two factions that are in the show. I'm trying to make this long story short. I don't want to go into a full-on lore dive here, but basically, Rhaenyra's side of the Targaryen lineage is the blacks. And on Alicent Hightower's side, it's the greens, all right? That's all you need to know. So basically, if you're a fan of the House of the Dragon, good on you because that show is damn good. I actually think House of the Dragon is better than the book that it's based on. My personal opinion, that is. And I really liked the first season. I thought I was going to hate it, but I actually freaking liked it. And I'm like, okay, I want to see what season 2 has to offer. And I didn't think that show was going to come out until fall either. And I was kind of hoping it would come right around where Rings of Power came out. But I don't know if we're going to get Rings of Power this year. So I was thinking, okay, let's see if we can't get that House of the Dragon Rings of Power match, right? Well, as it turns out, House of the Dragon is actually coming out in June, around the same time as the Acolyte. So that's going to be funny because we're going to see a lot of the Access Media shills and Disney weirdos and a bunch of Raylos out there probably. They're going to be like, oh, these toxic fans don't like the Acolyte. Well, guess what? The toxic fans that don't like the Acolyte really like the House of the Dragon. And while you're sitting there, seething and coping and sucking on your copium about how the Acolyte is the greatest show ever, it saved Star Wars, House of the Dragon is wiping the floor with your gay ass. What will make that competition even better is the fact that House of the Dragon did this genius thing where they released these two trailers, the green trailer and the black trailer. And they were trying to build it up as this, they're hyping it up as you have to pick a side, right? They're doing the whole Team Edward, Team Jacob thing, the Captain America versus Iron Man thing. They're capitalizing on the marketing ability of making your fans divided, but not in a way that they fight over, okay, I don't like this thing about identity politics in this TV show, or I don't like this character, blah, 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 blah. No, they're saying, I'm a fan who likes these characters, who is against another fan who also likes this character, while we are both mutual fans of the show that we really like. Versus Yeah, I think Disney Star Wars has ruined my childhood and I don't want to come back to it. Do y'all see the difference there? Do y'all see the difference in the fandoms? And so it's a genius marketing thing to basically have your fan base be engaged by being divided. It's brilliant. I don't know how to explain it without it making it sound kind of dumb, but like doing that whole Team Edward, Team Jacob thing, it's not inherently a bad idea. It's actually worked in the past. And House of the Dragon, I think, can pull it off to perfection. And that's how they pulled it off. I like the trailers. I like where it's going. I can't wait for season 2. I'm not picking a side, Team Black or Team Green, because honestly, everybody in that show is an asshole. They're all bad guys. There's no good guys in the story. Spoiler warning. There's no good guys in that story. However, you could argue the same thing about the Acolyte as well. And what makes this competition even more juicy, it comes out during Pride Month in June. Oh yeah. And you know what's funny? There are lead actors that are both female, by the way, of the two genders, that identify as non-binary. One of them, I think, is Amanda Stenberg. She's non-binary. And Emma Darcy, also non-binary. Well, guess what? I'm willing to bet you $100. Anybody right now, throw in your money, that the Access Media shills, the Disney shills, and anybody in the Hollywood media sphere and mainstream media is going to be like, why don't bigots and homophobes like the Acolyte? They're probably really not liking this non-binary gay actress in the Acolyte. Watch them say that. Watch them call their fans toxic. Watch them call their fans racist and homophobic and transphobic and all this other shit. All right, over Amanda Stenberg or Amanda Stenberg, whatever fucking name is, being non-binary, while everybody else loves House of the Dragon in spite of Emma Darcy being non-binary. How about that shit? You know what the difference is? You know why people would like House of the Dragon more than they would like the Acolyte? It's because House of the Dragon is a good story, and the Acolyte is a shit show made by shit people. One thing you'll notice about Leslie Headland's stories, if you can even call them that, a lot of them are based off of the Me Too Time's Up era, where a bunch of crybabies who are crying wolf usurped power from people to push a narrative, basically, by using the victimhood of actual people who were, let's just say, attacked, so I don't get demonetized on YouTube. But they used actual victims as martyrs so that they could power grab. We've seen it many times. The Me Too Time's Up era is, I would say, it's over, but it's also caused massive damage. I guess that's what they call cancel culture. But they're like, but Isaac, it's not cancel culture, it's accountability culture. Motherfucker, if it was accountability culture, Kathleen Kennedy would have been fired 10 years ago. Honestly, more accurately, around the time Solo came out, after The Last Jedi. But no, if she can survive Solo, she can survive anything. Yeah, the Acolyte trailer, stupid. I didn't really like it. I'm not really looking forward to the show, but guess what? Your boy's gonna watch it, your boy's gonna review it, and I'm gonna roast it every single bit of the way. I cannot wait for that monetization money to come in after roasting the Acolyte. Leslie Headland is not a good person. I don't care what you say. She might be nice, but she likes all the Star Wars, doesn't she?
I mean, what kind of Star Wars fan are you?
I am the type of Star Wars fan that doesn't even have a favorite movie. I just want to live in the universe of Star Wars continually, in perpetuity, forever. So when people are like, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? I'm like, there is no Star Wars movie. There is only Star Wars.
So when are you writing a Star Wars movie?
Oh, please, Queen Kathleen Kennedy.
And I want you to get out of this office right now. I don't want you here. Out!
People are treating Leslie Headland like she was a victim of Harvey Weinstein, when really she was the victimizer. She was feeding women to this guy, and people are trying to give her a pass because I guess she's part of the alphabets. There's one line in particular from the Acolyte trailer that I would like to address, and it's one that leads back to the Me Too thing, the Leslie Headland thing, and how the overall consensus of Hollywood is right now. And that's this line.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
There's no such thing as good or bad, only power and those who have it, is basically I'm paraphrasing, right? Gee, I wonder who else said that.
That's it, Harry. There is is no good and evil. There is only power, and those too weak to seek it.
That's right. The people who say that there is no such thing as good or bad are usually just bad people that want to justify their shitty actions. That is the consensus around Hollywood. They're so morally gray that they might as well be morally corrupt, morally black at that point, where they have no conscience, no sense of guilt. You know, they know exactly what they're doing. They're a bunch of scumbags. They like to use this, oh, it's not good or bad anymore. There is absolutely good and there's absolutely bad in this world. There are certainly grays that you can play off of. But we know why you say those things. We know why you say that kind of shit. It's because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel better for being a power-grabbing, stuck-up asshole. I could make a longer video about all the things that are so wrong with this series that I would just, I don't have the time, bro. I don't have the time. But don't you worry, because I got other things going on and I got a lot lined up for them Raylos. And there are certainly other channels out there that I'd like to endorse, that, do this job better than I can. But certainly I'm not going to give up. This won't be the last video on the Acolyte for sure, because I'm going to actually watch the show. I'm going to tell you how shit it is, because I don't see any reality where this is a good fucking show. I'm sorry. However, to end on a positive note for this video, I would like to address one teeny weensy thing that I didn't get a chance to cover when it first came out, but I thought I would cover it here. And that is Daisy Ridley.
Have to ask, because there are some of the, I'd say, extreme Star Wars fans who have made this a conversation on the internet about how they don't want a female director. Which seems bizarre because episodes of The Mandalorian were directed by females. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy has been overseeing all of this. So, what is your take on that?
I think my take is things get blown out of proportion. And the interactions I've ever had with people have been nothing but wonderful and supportive. And honestly, the day we announced that I was coming back at Celebration last year, you cannot imagine the joy and goodwill in that room. So I've only ever been embraced. And I think we're going to make a great film and people will love it.
Cannot wait.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that weird? Like, it's so weird. It feels like it's in like a fourth dimension. Like I'm outside of reality right now. Like, a Disney Star Wars actress is not bashing fans. Who would have known, right? And of all people, it's the woman who plays Rey. Like, it's crazy. Like, hey, Disney, Lucasfilm, that's all you had to do. That's all you had to do was say, maybe we blew it out of proportion. Maybe the fans aren't wrong. Maybe we should listen to the fans. Maybe we should take in what they're saying into consideration. How is it that the woman that plays Rey, I don't think she's the smartest woman in the world. That's why she's an adult pretender rather than, a rocket scientist. But at least she understands that the fans are not the enemy. At least she has enough common sense not to bash the fans. She at least is grateful for the people that liked the sequel trilogy and liked Star Wars and appreciated her. Hell, I appreciate her just for this alone, even if she hates my guts. I just think that's pretty based. Thanking your fans, trying not to throw them under the bus, good on her. And certainly, I may regret a few lyrics here or there in the future, but it's nothing personal, Daisy. It's nothing personal. But I thought I'd like to end that on a high note. I cannot wait for Alphabet Month in June. And oh boy, the competition between the Acolyte and the House of the Dragon is going to be glorious. So, I'll see y'all in the next one. Don't smoke crack. Have a good day. Also, don't smoke crack. Did I already say that? I'll say it again. Don't smoke crack.